What's up, gang? Happy Tuesday. I am excited to jump on and talk to you about what eating like an asshole really means. My name is Amanda Nybert. I'm a registered dietitian with a passion for health and wellness. And let's just say this weekend was not my best when it came to eating and food choices. And I mentioned this in my Insta stories. And the feedback that I got from so many people was overwhelming with regards to maybe what you related to with regards to this topic and the thought process of actually tracking your off days. And that's what I mean by like eating like an asshole. It's a really bad day is kind of what it breaks down to. So this weekend I ran off with the family to enjoy some fun on the slopes in Snowshoe, West Virginia. And my intention was we were going to stop about an hour and a half out of the resort at a grocery store and stock up on bag salads and rotisserie chicken and just things that we could snack on because we were staying in kind of like a house type place. It had a kitchen and we were going to buy food for the kids. That was the intention. Our car was so packed that we didn't really have the room to buy it all in Lexington and take it with us because it was like a 6-hour drive. So we were going to do it like right before and just kind of carry all the groceries in. And we kind of got a little lost, a little sidetracked, and basically could not find any grocery store like we intended to. It was the definition of a food desert. And I don't know if you guys have heard this term where, you know, rural communities don't have access to healthy food. Well, I saw it first and foremost in this really small town that we ended up going through about an hour outside of the mountain. And our only option was the Dollar General. And there is no healthy food in the Dollar General other than maybe some nuts, beef jerky, you know, things like that. So we were I was like, you know what, I'll make do. I'll find stuff on the mountain. We loaded up on pizza rolls and Pop-Tarts and cereals and chips and, you know, just all the stuff that we knew the kids would eat and headed out on our way. And that poor planning really hit me hard on that first day when we came off the slopes and it was lunchtime. It's like, okay, what am I gonna eat? And I was like, well, I'll make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And so I started out there, and then all the junk food was just kind of sitting in front of me. And basically by the end of the day, I felt like an asshole for eating like an asshole is what it came down to. And so I sat down and I was like, you know what? I'm going to track all this and kind of see what was the impact of the choices that I made today. The Pop-Tarts, the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, the Lucky Charms, guys, I ate it all. The pizza rolls, everything. And I added it all up and I was at about 400 carbohydrates and about like 180 grams of fat. And, almost 3,000 calories. And I'm so glad that I did that I actually tracked all that, because I do feel like recognizing what I did on that first day helped me to dial it back in on Saturday and Sunday. Because it would have been really easy for me to just be like, I have no control. You know, I'm in the middle of nowhere. I have no access to a ton of healthy food, so I'm just going to continue to eat kind of all this junk, and I'll deal with it when I got home. But the fact that I logged it on, I was like, dang, I am now the average American. Do you know the average American eats 400 to 500 carbohydrates a day? It's not hard to do. When you're eating ultra processed, really high sugar, food. I shared my macros and somebody reached back and was like, did you just eat brownies? Like, your sugar. Let me see what my sugar was. She's like, your sugar and your fat. Yeah, I had 165 grams of sugar. So the moral of this call, of this live, chat, is to say sometimes tracking your off days creates the most value out of anything you do. So if you are in this process of like tracking your macros and you're doing that macro management, and you find the days that you're off track or the days you don't track, you are missing the boat. Those can be the most valuable and the most educational days to kind of look at. So I challenge you as we roll into February, as we roll into March, to track your off days and see what they look like. Because there's two scenarios that will happen, okay? Number one, they're not really as bad as what you think. I work with a lot of one-on-one clients, and there's a little bit more kind of back and forth, you know, when you're working with someone one-on-one. And I can't tell you how many times they'll message me or send me, you know, their macros and be like, I had a really bad day. And it's like, they had a couple of extra grams of fat and a couple of extra grams of protein. And I'm like, this is not a bad day. Like, you are beating yourself up for unnecessary reasons. You know, this is a good day, okay? You should not be mad about this day. And here's the thing. We are so hard on ourselves. You know, we want to be perfect. We want to be 100%. We live in that dieter's mindset, all or nothing. And if it's not perfect, then it's horrible. And we've got to be able to see the good in everything we do. So it's like, in that scenario, I can kind of coach you and say, listen, this is not a bad day. And that's why, like, even in my lean group, I'm like, post your bad days. So I can tell you, yeah, you ate like an asshole. That was a really bad day. Or I can tell you, you're beating yourself up for absolutely no reason. No reason. This is not a bad day. So that's the two ways to look at it. Okay, maybe it wasn't as bad as you thought it was. Okay, maybe your food choices were not as great. You know, you ate some Pop-Tarts. Guys, how good are Pop-Tarts? I mean, I haven't had a Pop-Tart in 20 years. And I had about 6 on Friday. This is like, once you start, you can't stop. You know, so maybe you're not eating the best foods, but maybe your macros still fall not too far off. You know, if you're within 200, 300, 400 calories of your goal, I call that a good day, okay? Now, if you overshot your goal by, you know, 400 carbohydrates and, you know, 100 grams of extra sugar, yeah, it's a bad day. But I'm going to tell you that what I saw from those macros made me not want to repeat that again. Because as I was going through the day and eating all the things, because you know how it is, okay? So you're sitting in the house, and this is how it is on vacation. You're sitting in a house, nothing's put away, like everything's lined out. All the chips are all lined out, and everything's just lined out because, you know, you're not going to put it away in the cabinet. And it's just like staring at you. So you go and you grab like a handful. You're like, I'm just going to have a handful. And then you walk away, and then 30 minutes later, you're back for another handful, and you walk away, and then there's half a Pop-Tart that one of the kids didn't eat. So you're like, oh, I think I'll eat that. You know, it's kind of like the nibbling. And then at the end of the day, you kind of add it all up, and you're like, oh my gosh, that nibbling added up big time. So once I saw that on Friday, it's like, I am not repeating that Saturday and Sunday. You know, I will go to a restaurant, find a salad, I'll find food, I'll find protein that's going to keep me on track in order to not repeat those mistakes. So that's the benefit of looking at your off days, okay? So I encourage you, as you move forward, if you're someone that's tracking, track them all, okay? Look at the good, look at the bad, recognize when it wasn't really that bad of a day. Don't be so hard on yourself. You know, it's all about progress, not perfection. It's nice to look back and say, you know what? I didn't think that was a bad day. I thought that was a bad day, but I didn't do that bad, okay? So you don't feel so defeated, like you've sabotaged yourself. And then, you know, look back and say, yes, that was horrible, and I don't want to repeat that. A, I didn't feel good, and B, I know that's how it's going to impact me. So it's all about progress, not perfection, and it's all about looking at the big picture, the good with the bad. If you're constantly only looking at your perfect days, you are missing the boat, missing your boat. Missing the boat, missing a boat, any boat, I don't know. So think about that as you move forward throughout the rest of the year. Hey, post your bad days below. Let's compare. I've had a good one. Another really bad day for me is the day that I ate an entire jar of cookie butter from Trader Joe's. You want to talk about a really bad macro day. Eat a whole jar of cookie butter from Trader Joe's. I think it had like 400 grams of fat. I really was concerned that I was going to have a heart attack that night when I logged it all. But again, you've got to be able to brush it off, and you got to be able to move forward and recognize that one day, one off day, one bad meal, one bad weekend because the weekend was not stellar. I can say the only good thing I did last weekend is I didn't drink alcohol. And that's a huge win. Is not going to set you back. It's all about finding that balance. So, okay, guys. If you found this information beneficial, I promise you your friends and family will too. Share it. Share it. So everybody can feel okay about eating like an asshole every once in a while. Recognizing that it's not a make or break scenario and that you can pick yourself back up and get back on track. So use the share button, watch, create a watch party so your friends and family can see it. And if you need help creating some sort of more sustainable, lifestyle in your life, I want to help you do that. So we've got a new session of Lean starting in a couple of weeks, and I want you to sign up. So I'll put the link in the comments below. If you have any questions, ask those in the comments below. It's Tuesday, gang. We've got 4 days to keep it super tight before Valentine's Day comes into play, and we're eating chocolate-covered strawberries and drinking wine. I don't know what I'll be doing. So talk to you soon. Bye.